Hi everyone, it's Milkow and welcome back to this channel. Today we are diving deep into the place of gender in printing history. Already talked about Gutenberg and the birth of the printing press in a previous video. But what about the women who were behind the machines, setting the type and even running the presses? So let's shine a light on the hidden figures of print design. Women who helped shape what we read, print, and share. In the 15th century, when Gutenberg invented the printing press, printing became a craft, a guild-based industry. And like many trades in medieval Europe, it was almost entirely controlled by men. But here's the twist. When a master printer died, his widow was often allowed to take over the workshop. And this gave women a rare legal route into the business. And what better example than Charlotte Guillot, which is one of the earliest female printers in Europe. And in the 16th century, she ran the print shop Soleil d'Or in Paris and published over 200 books, mostly scholarly and religious texts. And why does this matter? Because Guillaume wasn't just preserving her husband's legacy. She became a publisher on her own rights, and she made decisions on typography, layout, and subject matter. Typesetting, which is manually arranging each letter for a printed page, was repetitive and technical. And you'd think this role would be open to all, but print shops often divided labor by gender. Women were assigned to stitching, binding, or sculpting the letters because it was more feminine and delicate. And men, meanwhile, set the types and run the presses. And why? Because typesetting required literacy, and society often denied women education. But some women broke through. And let's go fast forward in the 20th century, and let's talk about Virginia Woolf. Yeah, the author. She ran a home-based press with her husband, Leonard. At Orchard Press, she set type by hand, and she printed feminist essays and even published her own novels. She chose this method intentionally because she could control the visual design and ensure that women's voices reached the public. Another example would be the researcher Claire Bartoshil, because she allied dozens of women in her book, Women in Letterpress Printing, 1920-2020. And these women didn't just print, they redefined publishing through zines, manifestos, or artist books. They saw print as activism and a way to let their voice break through. Print design isn't just about pretty fonts, it's also political. And throughout history, feminist designers have used posters, pamphlets, and typography to just claim space, but also challenge patriarchy or even just educate. And what better way to be educated by a nun? Meet Sister Coretta Kent, which is an activist nun, and she used screen printing in the 60s to create colorful works filled with peace slogans and anti-war messages. Her prints were art and protests rolled into one. And let's continue with Barbara Kruger. Maybe you've seen her work because she is known to use Futura bold fonts with red. And one of my favorite design of her is Your Body, Your Battleground. Kruger reclaims the visual language of advertising to undermine the power structures, and print is a weapon. And some women designers like to work in group, like this feminist print collective, See Red Women's Workshop. They use screen printing in the 70s in London to make posters about childcare, violence, and labor rights. They used bold colors and clear slogans, and these prints were passed in the streets and also shared across women's centers. For many women, print design is the mean to express themselves and a way to be seen. Like in her essay, The Crystal Goblet, Beatrice Vard argued that good typography should be invisible, like a clear glass letting you enjoy the wine, meaning the content. And as a woman in a male dominated world of type theory, her clarity was radical. But history doesn't always remember everyone. Like the American artist Ethelred. She made posters for books and magazines in the 1890s. Her style was dreamy and decorative, which could be defined as feminine. But she vanished from the public eye and history nearly forgot her. Until now. And these women remind us that visibility can be political. And print design is one of the strongest tools we have to preserve memory. So, why does this matter now? Because even in the digital age, print design still teaches us about power, authorship, and voice. And as I'm doing this channel and also Instagram and TikTok, we can keep this history alive in new ways. This project is about using modern tools to tell untold stories and to give back space to the women who printed, set type, and published change. Thank you everyone for watching this video. As always, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and also tell me which one is your favorite female print designer. Bye bye, see you next time.